travel. Hey everybody, kenflannery here, your host as always, and I got planes, trains, and automobiles, and couch surfing, and staying with friends, and sleeping in the woods, and free hotel rooms, and all kinds of stuff on this episode to talk about, everywhere from the Midwest to California. Last episode was with Robert Struggles, staying with him in Chicago. And now I'm in California. Been seeing my old friend Sean a little bit, who I was trying to get on an episode. And maybe I'll still be able to do that in the next week or two for the next episode. Sean was my friend from growing up and also one of my last roommates before I started this travel and lifestyle. So I'll see if I can get him on next week. But yeah, let me jump into all the stories from Illinois and hopping episodes, and yeah, it's pretty jam-packed, so let's get into the travel, shall we? Alright, so yeah, last episode I sat down with Robert Struggles, a friend of mine in Chicago I was staying with, catching up with, hearing his stories about traveling. He had messaged me early on when he was thinking about traveling and then finally made the leap. So if you want to go back and listen to that episode if you haven't already, he talks about all the trips that he's been going on lately. So from there, I kind of spent the summer, I was heading west to east, and in Illinois I decided to pause in Joliet, which is pretty much the Chicago area, because I was thinking about going to see a friend in Michigan, a friend in Indianapolis for sure, and also was thinking about St. Louis. And before deciding, I took advantage of another Harrah's casino there in Joliet. I'm able to stay for free in different Caesars and Harrah's casinos sometimes, certain days, certain places, and this was one of them. So hung out there for 2-3 days, kind of uneventful. Didn't really gamble much or anything like that. There wasn't much around to check out, but just kind of got some editing and stuff done. Pondering the next move, and sure enough, I heard from Distill Brewery, which is this brewery in Bloomington Normal, Illinois. Pretty big brewery, bigger than I thought even. And I'd had an Imperial Stout from them years ago and just kind of marked them on the map. And I saw they were close, reached out, and sure enough, they were down to film a hopping episode with me. So I was like, all right, sweet. So actually there was a train from, like an Amtrak from Joliet down to Bloomington Normal. I don't know, I forget how long the ride was, like an hour and a half. It's like a $15 ticket or something, so I just hopped on that rather than walking hours out of the city and hitchhiking that day. I still had to walk once I got there, just a few miles or so to get to the brewery, and I met the marketing guy there. I still haven't posted that episode, but that was really cool just to go there. They had the stout that brought me there and a bunch of other good beers, so sat down for, 30 minutes talking to that guy, trying all the beers. So that was pretty fun, and just deciding that I would go to St. Louis next. I've got a friend there, and there's also a Melvin brewery out there I wanted to film an episode with. And sure enough, I left the brewery like right around sunset thinking probably wouldn't be that productive of a night, but sure enough, I got a ride from a truck driver, this guy from Portugal, about my age, who's going to St. Louis, so kind of lucked out. Got the ride there, arrived after dark, caught up with my friend, and spent a few days with him in St. Louis. Actually went to a Melvin brewery, which was maybe 20 miles away, so I hitchhiked over there one day, did a lot of walking, caught one ride, but got out there. Melvin Brewery is a brewery in Wyoming. It's one of my favorites, and they just had some random location in Missouri, and I've always wanted to check it out because it didn't really make sense to me why they had a location, a couple in Wyoming and then one out in Missouri. And sure enough, the day I got there was the day that they were changing their name to a Freestyle Brewery, believe it or not. So I was there on the day where they still had some of the Melvin logo stuff, but they'd gotten their Freestyle shirts and had a bus and stuff, and got to hear the story of why they changed their name, and that's a hopping episode that I'll get up here in a bit too. So kind of different, kind of cool, I guess. They called it Freestyle, same as this podcast. But yeah, not the same Melvin thing I was used to. They didn't have any of the same Melvin beers, but their beers were really good. Talked to one of the brewers there in the episode. So chatted with them, hitched back to St. Louis. A lot of walking that night, actually. I think I probably walked like 20 or so miles that day in between rides. It was a slow day as far as hitchhiking was concerned. Hot as fuck, too. But yeah, then there was a casino there in St. Louis. I was about to leave and just decided, screw it. So I got a few nights there just to check it out. Again, not much gambling that time around. Just editing video, stuff like that. That's kind of how I use these casino rooms when I can. And yeah, my goal was to get to Indianapolis, but another casino. It's just casino hopping for a little bit. Down in Metropolis, I hitchhiked to. Got some pretty good rides down there, 3 or 4 rides. Hitchhiked on down to Metropolis, which is close to Kentucky. There's like a Superman statue. They just kind of embraced the name that their town is called Metropolis, and it's like a Superman thing. I don't know, it's a little strange. But check that out. That, as far as a casino goes, I didn't even bet a nickel there. The place is nothing special. But I hitchhiked from there to Indianapolis in one day. 2 or 3 short rides, then I got a ride from this bartender girl from St. Louis, and she drove me all the way to my friend's house in Indianapolis. It's perfect. Super nice girl. Yeah, so I caught up with my friend in Indianapolis. I was there for at least a few days or so, just catching up with him. Probably went to more than a half dozen breweries, maybe 8, 9, or 10 or something like that. Yeah, just a good time in Indy. Always have a good time with my friend there. So at that point, it was time to finally go to Michigan, to Lansing. I had a friend there that was also on the list. Wanted to see. Can't be in the Midwest without seeing certain people. At least I tried to catch up with all these people if I can. That's the thing. I've traveled around the U.S. so much that kind of got friends every few hundred miles, sometimes closer. And some of them is just like I can't get too close without definitely going all the way and hanging out with them. So my friend in Indy dropped me off on the edge of the city, and the day kind of started slow, outside of the city actually, a little north of there. Day started slow, a little bit rainy, not too crazy, but finally the ride started to pick up, and thought I might not make it, but then yeah, that one awesome ride always comes through, and sure enough, I got to Lansing and was dropped off just a mile from my friend's house, and as I was walking to his house, him and his girlfriend rolled up because they were getting off work a block from his house. It couldn't have been any easier than that. Sometimes hitchhiking just times out perfect, even when it starts off kind of slow. You never know what's going to happen, and that yeah, that worked out real well. So I caught up with them. I had a box of books still, so I set up a book signing at they have a houseplant shop there, my buddy and his girlfriend there, in downtown Lansing. Shout out to Nevalese, and yeah, I hung out there a few days, and one of the days I brought my books and everything, and selling some copies of that, The Nomadic Moonlight, which if you all haven't read it already, it's on Amazon to download or buy the paperback book. So I obviously had the stack of paperbacks at the shop. Yeah, so I was doing that, and then I was just kind of thinking, should I keep going towards New York? My money was running pretty low at that point, even selling the books. I was down to about $100, you know, which isn't nothing. But I kept getting these offers out in California. One of the casinos there offering like a bunch of money every day, practically like $50 if I played it right. So I was kind of thinking, if I take this $100 and I turn it into a plane ticket and get out to California, maybe I can make a little money at the casino and afford a plane ticket somewhere else after that. So that's what I decided to do. So I hitchhiked first out of Lansing towards Ann Arbor, and the plane ticket I got was from Detroit. So yeah, hitchhiked to Ann Arbor, stopped into a brewery, was able to get a beer or two, and then yeah, got myself to the airport in Detroit, flew on out to California, San Diego. And the little Harris Casino out here is, it's not quite, I think it's still San Diego County, but it's a little outside of the city, but easy to get to. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been bouncing between the casino and my buddy Sean's place, Sean and Kelly, just hanging out with them, taking it easy, getting some video editing done. All those hopping episodes that I just mentioned, got to get edited. I think the last one that I got up was, see, I got the Iowa episodes up, and then I finally got the Forager Brewery episode up. Oh, man, that was probably the best brewery of the trip. So that one's up, and the next one will be Toppling Goliath, which is one of the biggest breweries in the country as far as their beer is concerned. 3 out of the top 10 beers in the world they have on that list. That one will be next, and then Adventurous Brewery, and then the other ones I just mentioned, like Distill and Melvin. Gonna get all those on up. Been working on it. And yeah, that puts me to where I am right now in California. Like I said, bouncing between the two. A little bit of planes, trains, automobiles. Been, the nights I haven't been either in the casino or at my buddy's place, I've stealth camped a few times just around the San Diego kind of Escondido area, which has worked out pretty good. And now I am all set for the next chapter. So let me jump to the outro and just kind of fill you in on what I'm doing next. All right, so my next move is heading to New Orleans to actually see my #1 Patreon supporter, among other people. That Patreon that I have, I'm posting little micro podcasts throughout the week, 2-3 minute updates. My biggest supporter is out there in Mississippi. So I'm going to go see her. Got some friends in New Orleans I'm going to go see. My plan worked as far as coming out here to California to pay for the plane ticket out and to get back somewhere and have money to spare. So I've already got that ticket from San Diego to New Orleans in a week and a half, 2 weeks from now, something like that. So I still got some time here to screw around in California. Maybe get Sean on an episode. That's what I'm hoping. And then the idea is to get out there to New Orleans and Mississippi, and I've got a book signing out there. If any of you guys listening are around that area, October 28th, I'll be at Pass Cigars in Pass Christian, Mississippi, which is close to Gulfport, doing a Meet the Author book signing thing. Just happens to be on a full moon, which is perfect because the book Nomadic Moonlight is all about where I've been on every full moon since I started traveling, the first decade anyway. So that'll be perfect. And that place probably has the best selection of local Mississippi beers anywhere that I've been in Mississippi. You might have seen the video where I went to every brewery in Mississippi in 24 hours. So there's not a lot of them. I mean, they're spread out. There's 15 when I did that mission. I think it was 15, 12 or 15. Not 15. Yeah, so with 15 breweries in the whole state, you might think there's not a lot of great beer, and compared to other states, you're definitely right. But there are some good ones, but most bars that you go to will just have maybe 1 or 2. But this Pass Cigars, he makes sure he has all the good stuff on. So it's a good place to be. Smoke cigars, drink amazing beer, and share some stories, and sell some books. So got that all set up. Definitely stoked to see some friends in New Orleans and all the friends I got in Mississippi. I've got quite a crew down there. Mississippi is where I got stuck for that initial lockdown stuff that happened in like April 2020. So yeah, a bunch of friends down there, a bunch of friendly faces to see. So I'm stoked about that, but I'm definitely going to soak up the little last bit of California. It's like 100 degrees out today, which is one of the hotter days lately, but still. Got access to this whole pool over here, Lazy River. So definitely going to enjoy this. Try to stack up a little bit more cash now that everything is basically paid for, the plane ticket. So hopefully everything I make is gravy, and I leave here with you know, a few $100 or more. That's the hope. And yeah, life is good. There's some other really awesome stuff on the horizon, I hope. There's a contest that I'm trying to win that'll involve traveling with friends and beer. I don't want to say too much about it until it's a reality, but mind the Instagram account, especially the hopping account, and you might be hearing about that real soon. Yeah, all sorts of plans and ideas really. So I'm happy. Hope you guys are doing awesome. And yeah, that's about it for now. Happy travels, everybody. Until the next episode, which possibly will be in a couple weeks or less, if I can get Sean on there. Otherwise, you'll hear from me in Mississippi or New Orleans. Definitely get one of my friends on an episode while I'm there. Sweet. All right, you guys. I will see you down the road.
To hell with plans I made. I need a new escape. With all my shit straight, I'll get my big